Hi everyone, this is LaQuita with Quita Bug Handmaids, and today I'm going to show you how to make a really fun card featuring the Flower Patch stamp set by Stampin' Up and the coordinating dies that go with this stamp set. I know you're going to really enjoy this card, so let's go ahead and get started.
So here's the card that we're going to be working on today. And as we go through this video, I'll have all of the measurements available on the screen for you just as a means to save time. So I'm starting with a piece of Whisper White cardstock. This is just scrap cardstock. It's not cut to any particular size. And I'm going to go ahead and get all of my stamping out of the way. So we're going to use this Flower Patch photopolymer stamp set. We're using this flower, the star that layers on top, and the Happy Blooming Birthday greeting. And since this is a photopolymer stamp set, I'm actually going to stamp on top of my piercing mat just to help get the best impression. It seems to help fill in the stamp a little bit better when you stamp down. And I'm stamping this large star-like flower in Hello Honey ink. And you'll see the flower actually fill in when I press down. You see the ink just fill right in. Perfect. I love photopolymer stamps. Okay, so we're doing two-step stamping. So I'm stamping the star that goes on top of this flower in Blackberry Bliss. And normally when you do two-step stamping, you usually see people do it with the same color family, just a lighter and a darker version of the color. But I decided to do two completely different colors. So I'm doing the Hello Honey and the Blackberry Bliss. But I really like how it looks together. So just stamp that down. And I'm going to go ahead and clean this stamp using some baby wipes. I don't have our Stampin' Scrub yet, so I'm still using baby wipes, but I'm just going to go ahead and clean this one off because the purples and pinks seem to stain the photopolymer stamps. It doesn't affect the quality of the stamping, but you will see that they're discolored after you use those colors. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and stamp the sentiment, Happy Blooming Birthday, using Lost Lagoon ink. And when I stamp this, I'm going to use pretty light pressure just because it was sort of it's a thin, delicate looking font, so I didn't want to press too hard and smush it. Perfect. So next I'm going to use those Framelits, the Flower Fair Framelit dies that coordinate with this stamp set, and I'm going to cut the flower out using my Big Shot, but I'm going to cut it out of the Whisper White, but also out of the basic gray layer that goes with this card. So I'm actually going to cut both sheets at the same time, but I'm just going to be sure to only cut the flower out of the center. You have to cut it out of the center of the basic gray piece because this is our layer, our first layer for the card. So I'm going to do them both together and I'll be right back. Okay, so I punched those out and I just need to pop it out of the gray. It didn't punch all the way through, but there we go. And I just used some washi tape to hold that die in place. You can buy the magnetic platform for your Big Shot. I just don't have it yet, so I just put a little washi tape. Worked just fine. And I'm going to eventually layer these two together. I just noticed that the washi tape was a little sticky and did pull up a little bit, but that's okay. Okay, so I'm layering some Designer Series paper on top of my basic gray, and this paper comes from the Moonlight Designer Series paper stack. And I'm just using some snail to adhere these together, and you can see it's going to cover up that die cut, so you won't even know that that's missing. So I love the colors in this pattern. It actually has the Lost Lagoon, the basic gray, the Hello Honey, and then on the back you saw the diagonal stripes. Those are in Blackberry Bliss. So I have a piece of Hello Honey here, and then another piece of that designer series paper. And this piece actually came when I cut down the designer series paper to fit that basic gray layer. This is the leftover scrap, so I wanted to use all of it up. I didn't want to have anything left from my paper. So I just layered that on top. Just had some raggedy edges there that I'm trying to lay down. So I'm going to adhere this pretty close over on the left side of that layer. Okay. And now we're going to set that aside and punch out the sentiment. I am using a photo label punch. Unfortunately, this is not a Stampin' Up punch. I don't have any of their label punches yet, so I had to use what I have. Okay, pop that out. And then I've got some more Hello Honey cardstock that I'm going to layer this on. Okay, just using some more snail to do that. Okay, and I'm going to adhere this kind of center of the card, in the center of the card, but down low. And I'm just testing the layout here, making sure that works. Okay, so I'm just going to put a little bit of Tombow Mono on the left side. Oh, it's not really in frame, sorry. So I didn't put it on the whole thing, just on the left side, because I wanted the other part to just kind of hang off. Okay, and now I'm going to go ahead and adhere this to my card base. So I've got some Whisper White for the card base. And look, you don't even notice that die cut. I learned this trick from Connie Stewart over at simplysimplestamping.com. So handy, you can save on paper by using other pieces of what you're already using. I love it. Okay, so I'm going to adhere the two flowers together, but I'm going to offset that basic gray piece. There we go. And then I'm going to put this onto the card, this flower, using some dimensionals, but I'm using the outside edge of my dimensionals. And as you can see, I have been using lots of the outside edges just to make sure I use everything. Don't want to waste anything. Okay? Okay, I hope you can't hear that. My phone's ringing. Oops, sorry. Okay. And now I'm going to add one of our basic jewel rhinestones to the center of the flower, and I'm going to add one of the large rhinestones. And I'm just using an X-Acto knife, which you can't see, to lift that off and put it onto the card. And I just want to press that down a little bit more. Okay, make sure it's on there. So now I'm going to use some of these metallic sequins, and I'm going to be adding the silver sequins onto any of the basic gray polka dots on the pattern paper. And I'm just going to add them using some tweezers and my Tombow Mono Multi Glue. So I'm going to speed this up to make this process go a little bit faster. So that finishes the card. You just have to give it some time for that Tombow to dry. I'm just kind of had some frayed edges there. So here's the first one that I originally did. I really love how this card turned out. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you real soon. Bye.